My husband, 32, and I, 30, have been married for over a year, and things couldn't be rockier. I have a good job and make decent money, whereas my husband doesn't make as much as me. Due to this and the fact that he was still living with his parents when we got married, we decided he would move in with me and I would continue to pay the rent and bills as long as he put money toward other things we may need as a couple. My name is the only one on the lease. However, he started to cut down on his work hours once we got married without saying anything first. He explained that I made plenty of money for the both of us so he could work part-time and do the work around the house while I was the main breadwinner. I was fine with this, a little upset that he just assumed this would be okay, but I didn't say anything as this felt fair. He did some work around the house initially, but spent most of his time going out to the bar, playing video games, etc., to the point where I worked and did the cooking, cleaning, and other household chores. My husband told me he was laid off 2 months ago for reasons out of his control. I assumed at this time that he would begin job hunting and I began to pay for everything. While I do earn a decent amount of money, it's not to the point where I can pay for rent, bills, groceries, insurance, contribute to emergency savings and finance the lifestyle my husband had started indulging in. So I began paying for his nights out, subbing him money for trips to look for work, etc., all while I was under the assumption he would be searching for a new job, at least to finance his hobbies. About a week ago, I asked him how the job hunt was going, and he told me that he didn't feel like it was worth it. He told me he was comfortable with what we have now, and I wasn't happy. So I confronted him about how I was doing everything to finance and take care of our household. At the same time, he sat around and played video games. I was being an idiot here, I'll admit. And during this argument, he let slip that he had actually quit and never looked for another job. I was furious that he lied to me and told him I didn't want him in my home right now, so I helped him pack up and dropped him off at his parents' house. Fast forward to now. My in-laws are understanding to an extent but are calling me an idiot for not wanting him to come back home until he gets a job. I've seen my husband during this time but never in our home, always out somewhere. I no longer pay for everything and his attitude toward me is making me question our entire relationship. He's calling me an idiot for doing this to him and I'm beginning to think he's right. Am I an idiot? Not the idiot. Your husband is taking advantage of you. He didn't give you any choice in this, he just made decisions and forced you to go along with them. Divorce him before you end up paying alimony. He's dead weight and you're better off without him. Yeah, only being together a year, OP might not even need to pay alimony. Where I am, it's 1 year of alimony for every 3 you've been together. And they don't seem to have any marital assets, only stuff OP came into the marriage with. So this is really OP's chance to get out with a clean cut and most of the money they entered the marriage with. LOL at him saying he's comfortable with how things are. Of course he's comfortable. He isn't doing anything. I would ask about an annulment instead of a divorce. At this point, it's as if he's married her under false pretenses. His intention was always to quit his job and not work. And block the in-laws and contact a lawyer. Why do you think they're so desperate to give him back? They raised a dud and want you to take care of it. You deserve better. My best friend Anne is getting married soon. She announced her engagement a year ago. When she first announced it, I was in the procedure of trying to lose weight. I was around 93 kilograms when she last saw me, now I'm 61. We no longer live in the same town because I moved 6 months before she announced her engagement. So, anyways, she asked me to be her bridesmaid not too long ago, and I accepted. Fast forward to my trip home. Everything goes to the dogs. When Anne saw me, she didn't seem too happy. Something was off as she barely even hugged me. She didn't say anything then, so I assumed I was reading into it. Later that day, when we were getting lunch at a restaurant, she noticed that I'd only got brown rice and a salad, and she commented on how I'd changed so much. I only laughed and told her that I was on a diet until I lost some more weight. This led to a rant from her side about how she feels like the fat one of the two. We've been friends since high school and she's had this thing where she'd treat me like I was a guy. It's weird to explain, but to put it simply, I'm 5'7" and she's barely 5 feet tall. Because of this height difference, I've always looked heavy next to her and she took pleasure in that. She used to wear my clothes, commenting on how my t-shirt was a one-piece on her and how my hands were bigger than hers. And some days, she'd say I looked like her mother because of how tall and fat I was. This made me feel less feminine somehow and kind of ugly. However, now that I'd lost weight, I didn't look fat anymore and she couldn't do any of those cutesy things. Her words, not mine, and that really hurt her. So I attempted to change the topic, but she kept circling back to that and then asked me if I'd lost weight deliberately for her wedding. I told her I'd been trying to lose weight for a while before that, but her wedding was a good motivator for me. I wanted to look good at my best friend's wedding and feel more confident in a bridesmaid's dress. Following that, she flat out accused me of trying to steal her thunder. She said that whenever I'd said I was going to try to lose weight, I'd relapse back to old habits pretty quick, so she didn't think I was serious. She told me I was trying to make her look like the ugly best friend. She then told me at one point that she was still prettier and daintier than me, and no matter how thin I got, she'd always be thinner. She added that because of this betrayal, she no longer felt comfortable having me as a bridesmaid, and I could attend as a guest instead. That stung a nerve, and I promptly left the restaurant and texted her later that night to tell her that I wasn't interested in attending her wedding. As a result, I've been getting messages from her and her mom. They say I've stressed her out and I'm trying to guilt trip her by declining the invitation. Am I the idiot? Edit. In case my reasoning wasn't clear, I declined the invitation because I was starting to feel like I was only asked to be the bridesmaid to make her look better, and then she felt threatened and demoted me to a guest. Felt like I overestimated her and our friendship. This is called projection. She was literally only inviting you because she saw you as the ugly best friend, to make her look better by comparison. The heck with her. She's an awful, superficial, rude idiot herself. I would tell her mother just what she said and then cut them both out of your life. She's not a friend to you at all. Not the idiot. Also, kudos on the new slimmer you. Cutesy things, the ugly best friend, the fat one, steal her thunder because you lost weight and feel better, lost weight deliberately for her wedding, like it's a personal attack. How does she think everything is about her and about to attack her? That is not a friend, even more a best friend. She should at least be happy that you felt better in your own skin. You do not guilt trip her. Your leaving is the direct consequence of her actions. Yeah, time to lose an additional 60 kilograms or whatever by ditching that idiot. She's not your friend. She's always had you around just to make herself feel better. You are nothing more than an accessory. You do not need people like this in your life. My mom married Jeff when I was 6 years old. My dad died 2 months earlier, but my parents were divorced then. Jeff and his daughter Emma lived in another state and we all moved to a new place to start over. I met Jeff and Emma 2 weeks after my dad died. Mom made a fast move because she could now with Dad not able to stop her. Right from the get-go, Emma has been clingy, possessive, and kind of a little creepy too. I didn't like her from the first day we met because she told me Jeff was my dad and that I needed to learn how to be a family with them. After all, she wanted a sister and a mom. It upset me so bad because I was missing my dad, he wasn't gone that long, and I had this strange girl tell me to replace him already. I told her that her dad wasn't my dad and I missed my dad. She told me she didn't care and things were different. I went to my mom, who told me to give Emma and Jeff a chance, and said Emma likely got overexcited. Emma has continuously made life so awkward for me. She insisted we share a bedroom, to which my mom and Jeff said yes, despite having a spare bedroom. She started wearing my clothes and telling me I could wear hers. All of this was fine with Mom and Jeff. She hated how I kept in touch with my best friend back home. She hated it even more when a year later, my best friend's family moved nearby and we got to see each other again versus just talking over the phone. She was rude to her, told her to leave me alone, and told me I had to spend time with her instead of my best friend. Emma tore up photos of my dad and told me that he was the past and that she and Jeff were the future. She did get into trouble for that, but then I got into trouble for not letting it go. I was 9 at the time, I think. Emma tells everyone I'm her sister and we're so close, whereas I'm more honest with people I'm close to and don't hold back on how unhappy I am at home. Over the years, nothing has changed much, only she's far more obsessive now. Jeff doesn't like me because he really doesn't like that. I don't consider him my dad. I don't think of him as a parental figure even though I know he is. I don't love him and I hate Emma, which he also knows. My mom has talked to me before about being nicer to Emma and to stop pushing her away so much. She got on my case again because I couldn't go to summer camp with Emma, we're both teens now by the way, that she wanted to go to, which allowed almost like a sibling experience. Emma went solo and I stayed. So Mom was on me a lot, and I eventually snapped and told Mom that she needed to fix how possessive Emma was and do better by me because I'm her daughter. I lost my dad, and she threw me into such a messed up dynamic and never cared about what it did to me. I told her at the very least that she needed to keep Emma away from me. Mom was mad and said I portrayed Emma as some sort of bad person. She's still mad. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Emma sounds terrifying. To want to have a sister and a mom is one thing, but what she's been doing is creepy. From the way you put it, she's trying to alienate you from everyone and force you to accept her and her dad as the only people you can turn to. It sounds like the beginning of a horror movie. On the other hand, your mom is a major idiot for how she's handled things. I would move out at the first opportunity and cut all contact. This is not healthy, and I'm honestly scared for you. How could you see Jeff as a parental figure when he failed to make you feel safe in your own home? He needs to get his little demon seed child under control. I am sorry for the loss of your dad and that your mom checked out from her job as a parent. Maybe try telling your mother that once you're 18, she will only have to worry about one daughter, because it seems like she only cares about your step-sibling anyway. Yikes, I'm so sorry. If you can stay with your best friend's family, I'd look into it and maybe some counselling if you haven't had any regarding your loss. If I were OP, I would remain silent on my plans and slowly move things out. Like contact my paternal grandparents if they're on my side and get ready to escape. Never disturb the snakes in the grass. I, teen female, have a twin brother, Cody. I do cheer and Cody does sports. We do these activities because we enjoy them, but Cody also puts in a lot of effort because he's constantly seeking approval from our dad and stepdad. The two don't care for each other but are somehow best friends when it comes to Cody's sports. He does like 5 different ones because our dad likes hockey and lacrosse, while our stepdad prefers football and basketball. They both enjoy baseball. If he ever dares to quit one of them will throw a riot or accuse him of playing favourites. It's so dumb. Sometimes Cody's schedules clash or get so overwhelming that he'll lay on his bedroom floor for hours and dissociate. It's been like this since he was like 10. My mom and stepmom thinks it's just men being men and that boys enjoy sports, so Cody probably doesn't care. But like there's a limit to everything, right? We were having a celebratory lunch for our oldest sister before she left for college and both sides were there. The lunch ended at 2 p.m. and our sister asked if we wanted to go to the mall. I said yes, and Cody was clearly going to say yes, but our dad said he had baseball practice. Cody tried asking if he could sit out one day since he hasn't missed a single practice in his life, but our stepdad joined our dad's practice makes perfect speech and backed out. Then they tried using me as an example. Oh, Ashley's never missed a day of practice and look at her, medals and trophies for days. I thought this was ridiculous. I've missed plenty of practices and Cody has more awards than me. I asked them if they were serious and told them what I just mentioned. My dad kept telling me to be quiet, but I called him and my stepdad losers that need to realize that Cody is a human being with limits, not a doll they can program or play with. Both of them were very embarrassed. My dad told me that I was being very disrespectful. My mom said I was reading too much into the whole thing and that they're men and I simply won't get their dynamics. I call BS, but they all say I'm in the wrong and need to apologize. My sister agrees with me but says I was disrespectful. Cody doesn't want to talk about it. Am I the idiot? Just to make it clear, the practice was an informal one. Think of it as extra credit or to strengthen specific skills. Not the idiot, it needed to be said, and sadly no one has said it before. Good for you for standing up for him. When your brother has a breakdown from the pressure, your dad and stepdad will be there, all confused as to why that happened. Both your dad and stepdad are the idiots in this scenario. They need to grow up and realize your brother quitting a sport from either side doesn't count as him playing favorites. God, they sound so immature. And toxic masculinity is real, and your poor brother is on the receiving end of it from all directions. So keep standing up for him. 5 sports? Jesus. Cody is going to hit the wall and burn out spectacularly. By the sound of it, he's already halfway there. Those losers are trying to live or relive their youth through Cody, which is pathetic. Your brother is going to kill himself trying to please them. Please keep doing what you are doing. It seems like you're the only sane person he has. Talk to someone in school, teachers, social workers, or even the coaches. The pressure isn't healthy. I, 24 male, have several food allergies and sensitivities. Because of this, I usually only eat food that I make. My family had a dinner hosted by my cousins. I was hesitant, but I gave them a list of things I couldn't have and they promised to make me something. However, they told me they couldn't figure out how to make something for me when we got there. I told them that they could have at least told me so I could bring something for myself. They then got mad and said bringing your food to dinner was rude. I asked them if not eating the food provided would be rude, and they also said yes. I asked if my getting violently ill or having an allergic reaction would also be rude, and they just looked at me like they were disgusted. Then they screamed at me that they worked hard on dinner and I would be eating it. I just went home after that. Most of the family calls me petty and rude, and it's starting to get to me. Am I wrong here? Not the idiot, and I'm confused about what they expect you to do here. Bringing your own food? Rude. Okay, fine, sitting there without eating? Rude. Leaving because you can't eat anything? Mega rude. Literally, you're right. By their logic, or lack thereof, apparently, the only polite choice by process of elimination would be to die. Who are these people? It chaps my hide. When people pull this on me, essentially giving me no options where I can do the right thing according to their judgment, and no, I don't care if Great Aunt Tilly and Great Uncle Roy spent hours preparing all kinds of food. If it's one of my allergies, I am not going to eat it, period. No, not just a taste either. Why is it considered rude for someone to avoid eating a food that causes a medical issue, but it's not rude to expect someone to eat a food that causes a medical issue? Get the heck out with that mentality. Your family needs a time-out. People who do not have food allergies don't understand what happens when you eat something you cannot eat. They don't know how anaphylaxis feels, how sick you are, and how expensive it can be. You provided a list to your cousins. They decided it was too hard and didn't tell you until you arrived. They are the idiots here.